Okay, let's get started. So I'm going to show you how to use scraps again because we have so many of them and I just hate to throw them out and I keep them all. So this card is using 1-inch strips, 1-inch pieces, 1 by 1 inch squares, not strips. And so I'm just going to show you how to put it together. It's really simple, but just a couple of tips as we go along. Oh, okay. Okay, Rebecca. So I love peach pie, and I haven't really used it that much, but so this card uses peach pie, and this is the Lovely and Beautiful Designer Series paper. And it is lovely and beautiful. I've used it a lot. And it is available, although right now it's supposed to be back next week. They do have it back ordered, but it should be in next week. So Lovely and Beautiful, and just a couple of tips as we go along. I'll share it with you. So I'll give you the measurements first, and I will put them below. So peach pie cardstock scored or 11 inches by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. And then for the inside, basic white, 5 1/4 by 4. And then a piece of the Lovely and Beautiful that is 4 inches by 3/4 inches, which we'll put along the bottom. I like to use up more in there. An Inchie card, you're right, that's a good idea. I should have thought of that. And then we're gonna have a piece of basic white that's 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. A piece of peach pie that is 4 1/2 by 3 1/4. And then a basic white, again, that is 4 1/4 by 3 inches. And then 3 pieces, 3 different patterns of the Lovely and Beautiful. And I cut little strip, well, I had little strips, so I just used the little strips, and they're 1 inch. And then I'm gonna cut them so that we can, I can show you how to cut them. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but, so we'll start with that. And we'll, got some left over from last week. We'll cut these in, we'll need 3 1-inch pieces for all 3, so 3 1-inch pieces. And I'll tell you about how to decide on what to use. So 3 1-inch pieces, so there's 3. And because on the side pieces, so we have the side pieces here, we're gonna cut one of the 1 by 1, we're gonna cut that on the triangle. Hi Diane, you made it. Thank you for coming. And so I'm going to cut, I like to bring my cutter down and start just right in the center so that it doesn't fray the edges, because quite often it will do that. So I've got 3 pieces that are 1 by 1, and one of them is cut on the triangle. And so the next piece, the same thing, 3 1 by 1 pieces. And then again, and this piece will cut on the diagonal. I've got those 2, and then this one will cut. Make sure I get it cut evenly, and bring my cutter down and cut it on the triangle. And so the next piece is this piece, which is going to be in the center. So I want 3, and I don't cut one of them on the triangle. It'll just be 3 1 by 1 pieces. And you know, you could even use a 1 by 1 square punch if you had a 1-inch square punch to punch these out. That would make it really even. Sometimes my eyes are not so good, so. Okay, so we got that. That's the first step. Hi, Beth. Thanks for coming. I hope you enjoy this, everyone. So I'm going to use my silicone mat, and I'm going to take the basic white piece that is 4 1/4 by 3. And for this, I'm actually going to use the Tombow multi-purpose glue because it gives me a little wiggle room. You've probably noticed I'm using it more. It's not my favorite adhesive, but sometimes it's necessary. So I'm going to start with, so I'm laying it out, and I'm going to start with these little pieces, and they go, the 2 pieces that are the triangles will go on the top and the bottom. So we're going to have these top and bottom. I'm going to lay it out first just to show you everything. And then this will go on the bottom, and keep the same ones on the side, or you can do what you want, but it looks really appealing. So then those will be there. Stuck to my finger. And it doesn't even have glue on it. And then we're going to put the 3 center pieces. And I'm getting them really close, but not touching the other pieces. So those will go in there. And then we'll have a piece here, and a piece here, and a piece here, and a piece here. So I'm just going to glue these all down, and that's the order that I will glue them. Yeah, I agree with. I like the trimmers. I like our new trimmer. It's really good. So I'm going to just go ahead and take these off. Put them over here. I know where they're going. I've done a few of these. So the one thing I noticed is to have your centerpiece more of a darker theme. And I'll show you with some other cards I made. It's nice to have it darker because it really brings out it really brings it out. And so if you have a darker color, that would be great, or anything really. But so just a little tiny bead of the Tombow, of the multi-purpose liquid glue, and we're going to put that just almost to the top. I'll show you. So I have it not quite to the top, but almost. And I need just a little bit on that edge. Didn't get any in that corner. There. And then the next one I'm going to do is the side. Oh, I know. And I'll show you. I made a few of them. And, all this paper that we've saved over the years, this might take a little bit longer, but think of the wow. You send this to somebody, they will love it. So that's why I'm using the glue, is that I can manipulate those little pieces. I love this little delicate flower that's on this. Okay, a little bit more on that one. And then these will go with the triangle side up. This is why I don't like this glue. It gets all over my hands. I see these gals using it, and they don't look like they get dirty at all, but I just come out of my room looking like a scrounge. It's terrible. That's why I've never used it. Okay, so those are the triangle pieces. And now we're going to put these center pieces in. That was too much. I'm going to dab it off a little bit because I don't want it going all over my card. And I'm going to put that right in the center, up at the top. And it doesn't have to be, so I got it really close, but not touching. I need to find my little applicators of the glue that I had, but still packed. And then one more, and these are the 3 solid 1x1 inchies. I'll have to mention that. That's a good idea. That's a good way to, so they just fit right in there. Perfect. And then we're going to add the side pieces. And here's another one. And those fit right in there. And then the other two. And this doesn't take very long. I did, I think, 5 or 6 cards yesterday in about an hour, so it wasn't hard at all. Hardest thing was deciding what paper to use. I could have used all my paper, but I decided you'd probably, thank you, Diane. I decided you probably would get bored with too many. So there they are. I mean, how easy is that? And isn't that stunning? I love the way, and of course, you know, they all coordinate because they're in the same paper pack. So I'm going to let that, actually, it's dry. It's fine. So I'm going to adhere this to the peach pie 4.5 by 3.25. So this will go here. And then I'm going to use the ribbon, and this is called golden white ribbon. It's kind of a natural, and I think it's so nice because it's, well, those scissors need to be sharpened. Whew, it won't cut butter. It won't cut ribbon for sure. So I'm going to turn this over. I always find, I mean, it doesn't matter, this can go either way, but I always find that if I tie my ribbon, so I tie my ribbon upside down. I do it from the top. Thank you, Rebecca, for sharing. Yes, I will send this to someone who shares. Okay, so we will, got the ribbon tied, and I have another pair of scissors. I'm going to see if they're maybe a little sharper. And I'll just trim off those edges. Well, not really. Goodness. I definitely need to sharpen my scissors. And I do have a sharpener, and it works pretty well. I got it on Amazon. Amazon. Oops, I need to cut this a little bit more off that because I do want it to be look even. Wow, this is bad. I'm going to mark these for sharpening. It's just cutting. It's just tearing them. I'm going to leave that, and I'll get a different pair. I have some snips that I think will work better. So, because I'm going to have it too short. And then this piece gets added to the white, the next basic white piece. Thank you, Amy, for sharing. So this one gets added here. And we'll just ignore that ribbon. That's terrible. And then this will go on the card base, which also is peach pie. And this is one of the colors that is going to be retiring. It's an in color that will be retiring. And if you don't have your pad or your refill or the blends, I recommend getting them because they are, some of them are even on low inventory already. And they will be going out with the new catalog. And I will talk a little bit about the new catalog coming out when I'm done here. So this goes here. And then I use the, where did it go? Here it is. I use the Lovely Arrangements. This paper coordinates with, this stamp set coordinates with this paper. And I use this for the happy birthday. And then I cut it with the 3 banner punch. I like that punch. It's really, for small sentiments, it's perfect. So I put on 3 of the mini dimensionals, and I'll pop that up. If I can get them off. Come on. There. So I'm just going to put that right across here. And then I have some of the In Color flat pearls, and I will use the peach pie and add those. I think this is really, really adds. I can hardly do a card without a little bit of something. Put that one down there. And then on the inside, we have the strip of 3/4 inch that I had just laying there. And so I use that, and I'm going to put that on the white and add that to the center, to the inside. And that's 4 by 3 1/4, by 3/4, 4 by 3/4. And you could use 1 inch or 1/2 inch, anyway, whatever scraps you have. There. It's done, and I'm going to put my hand over that. I will cut that off. So this is the card. I mean, not hard at all, and uses up more. I'm always looking for ideas that use up our beautiful paper, because I know how it is. I get it, I use it, and then it retires, and I haven't used it all, and I like to use it. So I made more, of course. So these are the ones that I made, and as I said, the dark really looks good in the center. So I'm using this one, and this is the paper that is the Lovely Blossoms. Lovely Blossoms. Use the same ribbon and the same sentiment. And then I made a thank you card, and this is the new paper that's out that's called Delicate Dreams, and this one is on back order. I'm sorry. I don't know what to say, but it'll come in. But this paper is gorgeous. Just really. Thank you, Beth. And then this one is the product of the month for February. It was called Painted Illusions. And I love that paper. I think it's, I've only had, we can only buy 1 pack. And I have used it and used it and used it. And I still have some left. And then this one is the Floral Charm paper. That's kind of an older online exclusive, and I love the way this turned out, and I looked it up, and sure enough, it's still available. So I used Pretty Peacock, and that was one of the theme colors in the pack, and then I used these are leaves, and these are flowers. So anyway, that's my set of cards that I made, and I hope you like them. I think they turned out beautifully. And so there they are. So I said I would tell you about the catalogs. So Stampin' Up! Is going to go, the annual catalog will, I started to say expire. Well, that's right. Expire on May 1st. And then the new catalog will be on I think it maybe May 2nd. Anyway, May 3rd. I don't know. May 5th. First part of May. Thank you, Rebecca. So from now on, instead of an annual catalog and 2 mini catalogs, they're going to have 3 catalogs a year. For each 4 months, there will be a new catalog, and these will have all of the basics. All of the catalogs that are produced will have all of the basics, the paper, you know, all that, ink, that will be in there. And the things that will change will be stamps and paper, you know, things that do change. So instead of having 2 catalogs what happens is I get the annual catalog, I'm really excited about it, and then before you know it, the September catalog, and then I just ignore the annual catalog, because then from September to December, and then January to April, we have 2 mini catalogs. So I forget about the annual catalog because I'm using the stuff that's current. So I really like this idea I'm very, very positive that, very, very happy, because I think it's a positive turn because we can focus on what is in the catalog. There will be online exclusives, and I will use those at times, but having one catalog, you know, per quarter, well, it's not quarter, it's 4 months, it will be really, I think, really advantageous. And if you haven't heard yet, they are coming out with new stamp pads. So our stamp pads are the kind that you open up and then you fold back. And for people with arthritis, which I am getting, they're kind of hard to open sometimes. Sometimes I just have a terrible time. So they're coming, they took, when they bought out Close to My Heart, or they bought the rights to their stamp pads, and they are magnetic. So you will just open them and shut them. You don't, they come apart. And the ink is in the top, the lid, just because Stampin' Up! I don't know about Close to My Heart if that's the way they were, but the ink will be in the top because they've always said that that's the good way to store them. So the ink is on the top of the pad. And they're going from foam to felt, back to felt. And to me, that's all positive. And they won't be changing. The new in colors that are coming out in the new catalog will have the new stamp pads. But they won't change all of the whole line until 2027 when they do a color refresh. So you don't have to go out and buy them. I mean, you wouldn't want to go out and buy them all until, if you are like me and have to have all the new stuff. But that will be 2027. So that's the quote unquote best news. I'm excited about the 3 catalogs. I'm excited about the new ink pads. And I know that the felt, I agree, Beth. And you don't have, if you got good pads, why replace them? I mean, that's a big expense. And so you don't have to, you could buy the in colors and see how you like them. If you don't like them, you don't have to buy them. You can just keep using your foam. And as far as the refills, I think there was only like one color when they did the last change over with these new ink pads that it wouldn't work with. The new refill had to be bought. But I think with the felt, it will not be a problem. You'll just need to buy, if you buy the new colors, you'll get the new ink pads. So anyway, that's totally up to you, and you don't need to go out and, that's just, to me, it was a waste of money, but I like to waste money. No, I think they will be nice because I think, I agree, Rebecca. I think the stamp pads will be nice because of pulling them apart, and then you set them down. Of course, you might lose the lid. That's me. But not really. I think it'll be a great change. But, you'll have a chance to check them out with the new in colors. So, and I will be doing an in color, what I call club, where you can buy one color a month and you will get, like the ink pad, the refill, the blends, the paper. I do that every year. And so if you're interested in joining that, and I space it over 5 months, so May, June, July, August, and September. And that way you don't have to put out, a whole bunch of money, but you get all the coordinating products. So more on that later. They used to have felt, and they were, I really enjoyed them. The foam was fine, as long as you tap, tap, tap. So, yes, the new colors they're looking. So one of the new colors is Hydrangea Haven, and it's this blue color in this card. Really pretty. And then I think there's a purple, and I don't remember the rest of them. But anyway, we haven't really seen that yet. So anyway, that's all I have for you today. I thank you for joining me. I appreciate it, every single one of you. And even if you don't comment and you're here, thank you very much, because I love to share. So I hope you all have a great day and that you stamped something today. Bye-bye.